1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to Crossroads Church Online. My name is George Papst. I'm the pastor here. We're really glad that you have joined us for today as we prepare for Thanksgiving or continue that. I hope your preparations are well underway, and we thank you for joining us to worship today as we think about giving thanks and being grateful. Notes can be found at the link on the page here on Facebook or YouTube. You can click on that. That's the easiest way to get it. It's a PDF document. Download that, print it out, and then you have it to fill in the blanks if you like to, or color or doodle on, whatever you would like. Otherwise, the link is over my shoulder, and you can look at that and get it right there if you pause it quickly enough. And you can find it there, and those will be there with the video later on in the week as well. If you'd like to give to help support this ministry, continue it, you can do it in person. We'd love to have you come at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings here at 1200 Honey Ridge Road in Guyton, Georgia. But if not, you can send a check by mail to 3469 Courthouse Road, Guyton, Georgia, care of Crossroads Church. Or you can give online even right now by going to our website, www.crossroadschurcheff.org. Click on the Donate tab on the right-hand side of the page. It's powered by PayPal, safe and secure. You can get your name, your address, all those things that you need to make sure we have a good record of that, so we can send a record of that at the end of the year when it comes tax time. But you can do that, and we appreciate your gift. You can designate gifts there also at that same site, and we appreciate that as well. Well, the Habitat for Humanity Guyton build, the second house of 3, got underway yesterday at 154th Street Extension in Guyton. If you want to volunteer to help with that, be working on that on Saturdays for the near future there, you can do so at habitatek.org and sign up there, or I'm sure there's some volunteer sheets available at the site on Saturday morning. That begins at 8 a.m. Our Operation Christmas Child Shoebox Time is today. It's November 22nd is the collection day here. We've got one more day they're collecting there. Maybe you didn't get a box. I know you're watching online, but you can give online even past this by going to SamaritansPurse.org, and you can give a box there, $25, and that'll get shipped as well for children all across the world, or you can give to help support the shipping of other boxes as well, and we're grateful that. You can designate a gift through Crossroads Church to Samaritan's Purse, and we'll forward that on as well if you'd like to. And so that's a great adventure, and that's the collection date is today, the 22nd, in fact. So we hope you take advantage of that. Well, masks are here to stay for a good little while until we get the vaccine out to everybody, or we just get past this virus. And they're 3-ply, they're washable, so you can reuse them again and again. And they're with our logo imprint on there. They're free. If you'd like one, let us know, and we'll get some to you. We mentioned last week our angel tree ornaments, and I'm glad to tell you that we'll have 7 angels on the tree with clothing and toys and some other needs that they have. Some middle school students in particular. They'll be available next Sunday. So if the 22nd is now and 7 would be 29th. And we'll have those available. If you would like one or to give and you're online, you contact us. We'll set aside one. I can email that to you, and you can do that, or you can give some money towards that. And we'll apply it to get those, help mom and dad out with the Christmas for those children as well. Back to school is still coming. Children are still returning from virtual learning or other situations all the time, and that'll be happening even more so in January in our county and in several school districts around our area. So they're still in need of school supplies, but both pencils and paper and erasers and all those things, and colored pencils and crayons, all those things. If you're out and about shopping like you may be in the next few weeks, please pick some up and let us know. Get them to us, and we'll share them with our local school, particularly our elementary school. Well, we're still in that buy the field process. We're still kind of on hold. We're waiting for the seller to kind of get everything in line that they need to do that, and we're anticipating purchasing 4 acres that we're on from a price about $40,000 to $60,000 an acre, which seems to be a fair market value by our own research of comparable property. But we got to raise money to do that, and we hope to do that. We have an opportunity to be able to do that with cash, and then pay back that, a kind of a no-interest loan, if you will, and pay that back. And we'd like to do that just as soon as possible. And the Lord has provided in all kinds of ways, and we can do just that. You can designate it a gift in person, or you can do it online as well at that same website, our church website, crossroadschurcheff.org, and you click on the Donate tab, and there's a future facility fund that you can donate to, and those will be safe and secure, and we'll use that for that. We're glad that you're here. And we'll be good with those gifts. It's time for us to prepare to worship. This is the Sunday before Thanksgiving, the national holiday where we set aside time to give thanks, but we should be thankful every day because God has given us more than we can ever imagine and more than we could ever give back. There's a lot to be grateful for, and I hope you are. And we'll take some moments here in the coming days to sit down and think about and be grateful for, and remind Him, let Him know that you are grateful. But you can do that today, right now. Hope you got your cup of coffee or your drink, whatever it is, and you're nestled into your chair or your rock or whatever it is you sit on, and have some time to set aside so we think about Him and Him alone for the next few moments. And not our own needs or desires or wants, but the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit who love us so. Would you join me as we pray? Father, I thank you for this day, this Sunday before Thanksgiving, the holiday, and on Thursday, the fourth Thursday of the month. Father, we thank you for that setting aside of that time, but gratitude and thanksgiving should be that our attitude every single day, our posture, our position of which we live life out every single day. We get distracted so easily that we must remind ourselves to focus on giving thanks, because we have been blessed beyond measure, way beyond what we deserve, way beyond reason or even our imagination. Father, for the next few moments, hear our hearts, hear our quiet, hear our stillness, hear our shouts of laughter and our singing voices and maybe our silence. But hear us. And Lord, if you would, speak to us. Don't let us leave the same. We thank you for that, Father. We thank you for the privilege and honor of knowing Jesus Christ, or maybe getting to know Him today for the first time. Father, it's in His name we pray. Amen and amen.
The day is brighter here.
Thanksgiving needs focus. Advertisers, politicians, news organizations, well, really any kind of media in general has always had the task of getting our attention. That's why commercials are louder than the regular shows. That's why they move quicker and all that kind of thing. The reason being, the more people who notice, then the more possibility of a purchase, a like, a vote, or subscription, and therefore more support, be it either money or influence. And this is the same is true online. It's just a different media, but it's the same kind of idea. And then there are those who are labeled online as social media influencers. And what they do is they market their ability to influence an audience or others to buy or support a product, an idea, or candidate. That's why they want you to like and subscribe, because the more people who subscribe, the more people who like, the more advertisers will pay for their channel to support them. And so they make money selling ads, basically, and they provide some sort of content. Maybe they review products, or they eat food, or they make tractor videos, or guitar player videos, all kinds of things there, but that's how they do that. But the idea is to get your attention so you'll come and look and watch, All this influence peddling, though, makes for a concentrated conflict, because everybody is vying for attention. Everybody's vying for your attention and my attention online, on television, on billboard ads, and in a classroom, all kinds of things. And of course, the thing is each of us brings to the conflict our own wants and desires, our own situation that we're in. And so here it makes for a polluted sensory overload competition for our attention. I don't think I could say that again if I had to. The question is, and what I want us to think about, how do we focus when we're sensory overloaded in this environment we call life? What do we have to do to focus instead of, squirrel everywhere, to focus in? Because it's a season of Thanksgiving, a time to give thanks. And none of those influencers, advertisers, all those people, they're asking us to give. They want us to buy something, purchase something. How do we refocus our mind from so many to focus clearly and certainly? So many influencers are prodding us for attention with promises of, you name it, leaving us feeling unfulfilled, incomplete, and maybe flawed. They say, well, you should be like this, or you should be doing this if you want that good, happy life, or you should be doing this, or you should be using this product, or you should be, it's not new. It's just that the quantity, the level of it is new. We've never, I don't think, been so inundated by media, by influencers peddling this and that, and trying to influence our decision in one way or another as it is now, in light of all the media that we consume on a daily basis. How can we be thankful for what is instead of what they offer, what could be? Well, focus. And there's no better example than Jesus Christ himself. Jesus was focused. And so I want us to think about that in three different areas of focus. One, and so I've titled this, Jesus Is. First off, he was focused on the promise. In John chapter 10, verse 21, it says this, in that same hour he rejoiced in the Holy Spirit and said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned and have revealed them to infants. Yes, Father, because that was your good pleasure. He was focused on the promise. The promise that God would reveal himself and reveal his plan and purposes to those who were following him. And so when we need this focus in this season of Thanksgiving, and I want us to think about, what has God really promised? Not what we want him to promise, not what we dream he would promise, not what we assumed he'd promise. What has he actually promised? We need that focus, don't we? And there's no better place to find it than in Jesus. And there's no other place to find it than in his word. I'd encourage you to read Luke chapter 10. You'll see the promises of God and how he was focused on the promise there. But Jesus was also focused on potential. Jesus raised his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you heard me. Now, this is after Lazarus was raised, and so that's where the moment has happened here. And Lazarus has come out of the tomb, and he says, then Jesus raised his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you heard me. I know that you always hear me, but because of the crowd standing here, I said this so that they may believe you sent me. John chapter 11, verses 41 through 42. Jesus was focused on the potential. I mean, why come from heaven anyway? Because we are the potential. You and I have the potential to change the world. You and I have this promise that God would be with us and will lead us and direct us, but now we have this potential to make that change if we'll keep focused on the potential. And Jesus was focused on the potential, you and me. That was the potential. That's how the kingdom was going to expand. That's how the world was going to be changed. That's how it has been changed. As you and I have walked right behind Jesus, it's been changed in our lives and the lives we contact with. And so he's focused on the potential we have. And so we are the potential to change the world. And Jesus was focused on you and you alone. But Jesus is also focused on the purpose. In John chapter 12, he says, now my soul is troubled. What should I say, Father? Save me from this hour. But that is why I came to this hour. Father, glorify your name. And then a voice came from heaven. I have glorified it and will glorify it again. So many of us wander around what is our purpose, and yet the purpose is just what Jesus has, was to glorify his Father. That was his purpose. Our purpose is the same, to glorify God. By living, by walking behind Jesus, we glorify our Maker who created us. We have a purpose. We have a purpose at Thanksgiving is to be thankful, but our purpose extends not just to ourselves, but beyond ourselves, because as you and I walk and live each day with an attitude that is of gratitude and thanksgiving, that we've been given way more than we deserve and way more than we should ever imagine, and just by breathing every day, we have that purpose of glorifying God is giving thanks to him, but it extends to others because it brightens their day. It says I know it's dark in your life, there are terrible things going on, but you still have so much to be grateful for. So much to be thankful for. Mostly, so many someones to be thankful for. So Jesus is, but we are. Here it is, Thanksgiving time, and we have much to be thankful for, and yet all you can do is see the problems and the pitfalls and that punctuate your life. I like alliteration with the letter P there. Maybe you're lamenting over the fact that you have chosen or cannot travel like you would desire to be because all family and friends can't be together because of the risk of the virus that's going on right now. Maybe the situation, you have to work on Thanksgiving Day, or you have to work right around. I've been there, done that, where that was the only day I got off, and the other day, so there wasn't enough time to travel to be with family or friends. I don't know what your situation is, or maybe some can't travel or come to you, or maybe it's been really hard and you're wondering if you're going to have enough food to have a meal on Thanksgiving Day or whatever. I don't know what your situation is, but that's true. These pitfalls and problems, and they're punctuated your life with C, but and maybe you're saying, Brother George, what that was Jesus. Jesus can do that, but I can't. What problems did he have that because he was God? Maybe you think. You probably never thought about his situation, remembered his situation. He was all man too. In Philippians 2, this great hymn that's there, it reminds us of Jesus and the situation he was in. It says, make your own attitude that of Christ Jesus, who, existing in the form of God, did not consider equality with God as something to be used for his own advantage. Instead, he emptied himself by assuming the form of a slave, taking on the likeness of men. And when he had come as a man in his external form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even to death on a cross. Think about this. What was his previous home? Heaven. He's the only one who's ever come from heaven and then gone back to heaven. All of us are here going to heaven, but Jesus left heaven. Heaven is better. He left it. He's the only one who came and returned, but have you ever thought about what he gave up in heaven? I mean, ceaseless praise, no pain, no sin, no pettiness, no political ads, no, the ad nauseum, no. That's what heaven is like. It's better. Consider that he left that. He left that to come here because of you and me. Slumming it, right? You bet he was slumming it. And yet, he continued to be thankful. I remind you, he was fully man, all God, all at the same time. But he was thankful. A man who knew that the authorities, the religious authorities who should have understood who he was, they were out to get him and to kill him. And they did. In the end, he was left trusting God. Guess what? Just like you and me. Just like we are. And he committed his spirit into God's hands while on that cross, dying for you and for me. Because he was focused on us and his Father's purpose and his Father's promises and his Father's priority, which was you and me. Since it's a week of Thanksgiving, I want to encourage you with some ideas. These next few days when you're less than thankful, I want you to spend a moment here. First, list the promises of God. Because, you know why? His promises overcome our problems. Just off the top of my head, he said he'd never leave you nor forsake you. He'd supply your every need. He would love you unconditionally. Those are just three really quickly, but the promises of God are numerous. You can Google it if you want to. What are some promises of God that you need to hang on to? Maybe they're because of their needs that you have and wants. Heart hurt. Secondly, consider again the potential of man in the kingdom of God and God's potential in you. Now, I know you're going like, what? I can't do anything. Yes, you can. God has given you a purpose and a plan. God has given you skills and abilities. Why don't you just use them? Why don't you take that moment, that opportunity to help someone, to be grateful, to say, I've been given this, so I want to give it away. You know, the greatest teacher is your last pitfall. Did you hear that? The greatest teacher is your last pitfall. The situation where maybe you got yourself in or you found yourself in and it was not what you wanted, it was not what you hoped, but you survived and here you are. That could be your greatest teacher, and that could be the greatest teacher for someone else. Someone who's going into that situation or in that situation now and doesn't know where to turn, doesn't believe they're going to make it out alive, and you can say, that's me, I'm alive, I'm still breathing. Let me tell you how God got me here. You see? That's the kingdom of God at the end of your hand. That's meeting a need and saying, God, see me through. He can see you through, and He will. You know, thirdly, remember your purpose. You see, it's the same as that of Christ Jesus, is to glorify the name of God. In fact, that alone is the perfect punctuation to Thanksgiving. Giving thanks for a turkey and all that is not even the heart of the matter. Giving thanks to God for His love, for life, for family, for friends, for the blessings that outmeasure any kind of yardstick or ruler we could compare it to. That's the perfect punctuation for Thanksgiving. Maybe in these moments and days coming up to that, you need to sit down and take a few moments. In a blog post recently on Facebook, I was challenged with this, and it's this idea of counting your blessings. But in fact, it was very targeted for our times here currently. It said, what blessings has COVID-19 brought to your life? In the worship folder in the notes there's like 4 blanks there. I don't know if that's enough or too much or whatever, but consider this. What blessings, because everything works for good, what blessings has COVID-19 brought to your life? Maybe refocused attention. Maybe decided that some things that you thought were absolutely mandatory are not so mandatory, that you could live without them, or you didn't need it to survive every day. In Romans 8:28, often quoted, but this is by J.B. Phillips, it says, "Moreover, we know that to those who love God, who are called according to His plan, everything that happens fits into a pattern for good." Everything that happens fits into a pattern for good for those who love God and are called according to His plan. Just this week in the real world, how does that work out? Well, Barbara, my wife, was waiting she drives a school bus too, was waiting for her inspection of her bus. They're inspected once a month to be sure that they're safe and all the safety things and they're mechanically in good shape. She was waiting. It takes a little bit of time. It's not terribly long, and there was another driver there waiting with her, and in the midst of conversation, that is conversation, when people are waiting, that the other mentioned of a health struggle of a loved one, and making decisions for their care over the long term. It's difficult if you've been in that situation, which Barbara recently was. We were there with her mother. They're difficult decisions, and they're decisions that you don't want to make at all, but you have to make something. And Barbara shared in that moment, in that environment, in that situation, she shared of her similar struggle with her mother's care. When that other individual left, or it was time for Barbara to go, she spoke and said she felt so much better now and was so thankful that she had talked with Barbara. You see, God uses everything. Every situation, every circumstance for ministry to those who love Him and are following His leading. And so what seemed to be a situation that you made the best choices you could, but they didn't reach the outcome that you thought they should, or they didn't do that where it was just didn't seem to work out very well, all of a sudden becomes this moment that gives someone else in that situation hope, because it says, hey, I lived in that, I lived through that, and look, I'm still breathing and I'm still okay. You can make it too. It's hard, but there are some resources we found. These might be helpful, but the situation didn't change, but the hope of the situation went up exponentially. That's what giving thanks is all about. God uses everything for His glory and our good. He uses everything to fit it into this pattern of hope, which should lead us to a pattern of gratitude. Because in God's kingdom, nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. That's our focus, God's kingdom. And as we mentioned earlier in the service, but last week I said, who are you thankful for? Who? Not what they've done, but who. We should be most thankful for Jesus Christ, who died willingly on a cross, slummed it, coming out of heaven to live here. Really? Really? So that you and I could join Him in heaven. Boy, if there's anything to be grateful for, that's it. That's our thankfulness. That's where our focus needs to be. Beginning there, on the who of thanksgiving, not the what or the why. Gratitude that God loves us so. He does. He loves you so. And you can be grateful for His blessings because they're real and they're certain. We often take them for granted. But He has a plan for your life. And that plan is to prosper and to bring you peace. It's a wild ride, I can guarantee that. But it's to prosper and bring you peace. And He is good to His promises. Focus on His promises. Focus on the potential. Focus on your purpose, which is to glorify Him. And then that seed, that flow of thanksgiving that we've been trying to prime for the last several weeks will flow from you. You'll be overwhelmed with gratitude. What a great way to live, especially as we enter into the season of Christmas. Jesus coming, moving into the neighborhood. That's amazing. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for this message of hope, of thanksgiving. How in the world can we focus ourselves when so many things are going so different, many different directions, and trying to influence us one way or another, or trying to challenge us? Then we're challenged, and it's just a confusion in our minds for our attention, for our minds and our hearts. We know that evil is behind it. But Father, it's always been to focus on you. Put those blinders on and look at Jesus, who is grateful, who focused on his purpose, on your promises, on your love for the people, us, and fulfilled that plan, and he was grateful for that. Father, thank you that all things work for good in that plan, because nothing, no great tragedy is not used for good things, and God, thank you for working those out. Maybe it's to tell the story that I lived through it, and you can too. Maybe it's to tell of great victories that have overcome the enemy. Maybe it's a peaceful contentment, gratitude for life and living. I don't know which, Father, but thank you for that. Thank you at this holiday season for hearts that are heavy because we loved someone so much, and now they're not with us. May our hearts be filled with your presence because your love will overwhelm us. We thank you for that. I thank you for all who are watching this day, that we would have indeed a gratitude of thanksgiving, and that would be our everyday life. Father, it's in the name that's above every other name, Jesus, we pray. Amen and amen. How about that free ride? That doesn't seem like much of a church song from the Edgar Winter Group, but you know, this season, this gratitude, this Thanksgiving is a free ride. All you have to do is think a little bit about the blessings that have come in your life, and it's a free ride. It'll take you along and deliver you through the rough times and the rocky patches, and it'll see you through the darkest night. Could be that flicker of hope that you need. It's a free ride towards Jesus Christ, because he did it all. He paid every price for every sin on that cross. He gave himself up willingly, a perfect, innocent sacrifice, killed for your sin and my sin. It's a free ride. It was a costly ride for him, but it's free for you simply to say, I believe, and I commit myself to you. What thanksgiving there can be, what gratitude there can be to know that there now is no debt of sin and that the grave has no hold on you. That is much to be thankful for. It is our hope and desire that you would look to Jesus this week, that you would be grateful and thankful for all that he has done in your life and the people he's put in your life, whether you can really see them. If you'll just open your eyes, you'll see the blessings. And think about the who and not the what of gratitude. Who are you grateful for, and why are you grateful? Just because of who they are. Let's focus on the one who died for us, just who he is. What gratitude there is. Don't eat too much. Enjoy your time with family and friends and Skyping and visiting with them, and be grateful for that. And we hope that you'll join us back again as we begin that season, Advent season, towards Christmas, preparing our hearts for the greatest gift ever given, Jesus Christ, for who he is. What a delightful thing. We pray that God will grant his peace and blessing upon you and your family as you gather, and that sickness will be banished from your house, and the coronavirus will not be part of that. Take your precautions, be smart, do the right things. Do things that help keep you safe, but we'll trust God with the results. Thanks for joining us here at Crossroads Church, and we look forward to seeing you next week.